just at a time, to bring it back to ISIL, is there a demographic? Is there a type of person based on poverty or tribal connections, whatever the right term is, that makes them most susceptible to or interested in joining something like ISIL?
I wrote about this a lot in Beyond Fundamentalism. ISIL is a very sophisticated, modern, and even globalized organization. If you think about it, this notion that the world shouldn't have borders and boundaries, that ethnicity and nationality are irrelevant, these are very modern conceptions. And so it's not that people who are poor or dispossessed join ISIS. On the contrary, it's the more educated, the more middle class who join these kinds of ideologies who are predicated on global reformation. Poor people don't care about the globe. They care about their own communities.
But is that the opposite of in the West or in the United States, where we presume that education makes people more moderate?
Exactly. And it's not the case. That is certainly not the case. Now, of course, if you're looking at a nationalist organization like Hamas or Hezbollah, they tend to draw poorer people because they're addressing very immediate needs. When you're talking about Al-Qaeda or ISIS, you're talking about transnational organizations that really have no concern really with immediate needs. Their concern is global transformation. And you have to have a certain level of education, a certain level of knowledge, and even economic advancement to think that way.
Right. You have to have a certain, that's fascinating. I never thought of it that way before. You have to have a certain amount of comfort to think in those abstract terms.
Precisely.
And develop those abstract goals. So
Precisely.
Does bombing ISIS leadership to try to eliminate, in the way President Obama has been describing them, eliminate the leadership by killing them, create more or fewer ISIS members 5 years from now?
The problem with a jihadist organization like ISIS is that they are fighting a war of the imagination. This is a cosmic conflict for ISIS. They're not interested in land. Those things they're transitory. They're interested in defeating evil. As far as they're concerned, they're fighting a war that is actually taking place in heaven, not on earth, between the forces of good and evil, darkness and light. When that is what is at stake, there is no negotiation. There is no conversation. You can have a conversation with Hamas. You can have a conversation with Hezbollah because what they want is concrete. It may be unachievable, but it's concrete. ISIS wants nothing that is measurable or concrete. They want the world. And so the only response to an ISIS militant is a military response. Now, what is important, however, is that ISIS uses these very common grievances to draw people to their cause. And those grievances, despite the fact that ISIS couldn't really care less about them, are legitimate grievances. And we have to not just kill ISIS fighters, we have to take away their appeal by addressing those grievances.
Enlightening if scary, scary if enlightening. Reza Aslan, thank you.
My pleasure.